Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Now we're at that time of year where us theme park YouTubers find it a little bit more difficult to upload videos, and that is because the 2022 UK theme park season has unfortunately come to an end. I have got plans over the next few months of what I'll be uploading, so don't worry, there will be lots of content still coming here on the channel, but right now things are a little bit difficult. So although I can't visit the theme parks, what I can do is give you my thoughts and opinions on the best and worst rides at one of the UK's biggest theme parks, as today I'm going to be bringing you another roller coaster ranking video. I'm actually going to be ranking rides from a park that I don't visit or talk about all that often. In fact, in 2023, I'm making it my New Year's resolution to visit and vlog from this park more, because you know what, it is full of some amazing roller coasters. And I am of course talking about Thorpe Park. So today I'm going to be ranking every major roller coaster at Thorpe Park. Now I usually do these videos on Tier Maker, but seeing as there's only 7 roller coasters at Thorpe Park, I thought I might as well just tell you of them in a list format from the worst to the best. And I'm going to be starting off with my least favourite coaster at the number 7 spot, the Flying Fish. Now what can I say about the Flying Fish? It's not really a coaster that was designed for guests like me, it was designed for the younger guests. But what can I say, it is still a fun ride. I love family rides. If you watch my videos regularly, then you'll know that I love family rides, family parks. My favourite parks are the Disney parks. One of my favourite parks in the UK is Chessington, one of Adventures. So there, that explains it all. I love family rides and family parks. But the Flying Fish, it's a number 7. I'm in no way saying that it's terrible, but compared to the other 6 roller coasters on this list, it's where it belongs. Now this one's actually quite surprising for me personally, because The Walking Dead is one of my all-time favourite series. A few years ago I used to go to every Walking Dead convention, meet all the cast, get all their autographs. I was a huge fan of this series. Not so nowadays, I mean it went off the rails a little bit. However, it was still an amazing series at the time, so when I heard that Thorpe Park were going to get a Walking Dead ride, it's safe to say I was very excited. So the Walking Dead ride opened in 2018, but it was formerly known as X No Way Out, which opened in 1996. So it's a very classic ride. I mean, it's almost the same age as me. But I'm not going to be talking about X No Way Out. In fact, I never actually went on that version of the ride, so I can't really talk much about it. But just talking about the Walking Dead version of the ride, I mean, it's executed really well. The story's great, the theming's great, but the story, it doesn't really have much relevance to the actual Walking Dead series. It would have been good to see them incorporate some of those characters and some of the storylines in this ride. But that's just my opinions anyway. I mean, the coaster itself, it's pretty generic in my opinion, but overall it's not a terrible ride. But yeah, it still belongs at the number 6 spot. I would actually love to hear your thoughts on the Walking Dead ride, especially if you've ever been on X No Way Out. How does it compare? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so on to the bigger roller coasters now, and up first we have a B&M inverted coaster which opened in 2003, which is actually 9 years after the superior Nemesis was built. Don't get me wrong, Nemesis Inferno is still a fantastic ride, it is still a great roller coaster, but let's face it, if Nemesis wasn't over Alton Towers, then, you know, this would rank a lot higher up on the list in my opinion. It still has all the elements which the original Nemesis has, it has all the great inversions on there too, but you know, it just doesn't have the intensity that the original Nemesis has. But yeah, that is why Nemesis Inferno ranks at number 5 on this list. It's pretty sad to think that Nemesis Inferno is now the only Nemesis which is operating currently. It's really sad. Next up we have Saw the Ride. Now this Gerstlauer Eurofighter opened in 2009, and I believe this was the first roller coaster to be themed after an actual horror film, and this horror film happens to be one of my all-time favourite horror film franchises. Now you might think I'm an absolute psychopath for thinking that, seeing as Saw is one of the most goriest horror films of all time, but what can I say, it's still entertaining. But we're not talking about the films, we're talking about the ride. Now you'd think that being one of my favourite horror movie franchises, it would be at the very top of my list. However, there are a few flaws with Saw the Ride. The main one being that Saw the Ride is very rough. Now I've been on Saw the Ride a few times, and every time I've been on it, I've come off it with a massive headache. It's got some great inversions on there, but they're all just super rough. I mean, the whole ride experience from start to finish is just a little bit uncomfortable for me. So yeah, that's why it doesn't rank higher than it should. The theming of the ride is really on point, and it really does give justice to the films. In the queue line area and that station building, it's all done very well. But yeah, just the coaster itself, it's not extremely enjoyable. What I will say that I love about the coaster is that vertical lift hill and that more than vertical drop. I mean, there is nothing more terrifying than 1, a vertical lift hill, and 2, a vertical drop. And Soar the Ride has both of them. So yeah, that is probably my favourite element of Soar the Ride. The rest of it is all just a little bit rough, not very enjoyable. But yeah, what can I say? As a whole package, it's not terrible. And if they did some work on it, then maybe it'd be better. But yeah, that is why Soar the Ride doesn't quite rank as high as it should. Next up we have Colossus. Now this is an absolute classic. It opened in 2002, which means it celebrated its 20th anniversary this year. And when Colossus opened, it was actually the coaster with the most inversions in the world. It had 10 inversions, but then China went to build an exact replica, and then, you know, the Smiler came along. So although it's not the world record breaker anymore, it's still a great coaster. Overall, Colossus is a great coaster. I mean, it can be rough in places, but as an overall package, it has everything that I love in a roller coaster. It's a fun ride, the inversions on it are great, and you know, it's just one of those that you have to go on when you go to Thorpe Park. Okay, so on to the final 2 coasters now, and at the number 2 spot we have Stealth. Now, this is one of my all-time favourite coasters. You go from 0 to 80 miles per hour in under 2 seconds, which, you know, is very, very fast. And then after that, you're shot 205 feet vertically in the air, only to come 205 feet vertically back down. It has everything that a scary coaster should have. And that is what I love about Stealth, being sat in your seat, especially if you're on the front row, being prepared to be launched at 80 miles per hour. It's terrifying and I absolutely love it. If you compare it to Rita over at Alton Towers, of course Stealth goes a little bit faster, but just the Stealth launch is just more intense in my opinion than the likes of Rita, and that's what makes it the best launched coaster in the UK in my opinion. As I said a second ago, it has all the ingredients which make a very scary, amazing roller coaster, and honestly, it was very close to being my number 1 coaster at the park, so yeah, definitely a number 2 spot on this list. So we're finally at the number 1 spot, and this one is of course the Swarm. Now the Swarm is the only winged roller coaster here in the UK currently, and I say that because next year that won't be the case, and if you want to find out more information about this, then I'll leave a link down in the description below. Chessington World of Adventures will be getting a winged coaster next year. Definitely won't be as intense as the Swarm, but it won't be the only one in the UK anymore. So what is it that I love the most about the Swarm? Well, for one, it has that winged element, so already it makes it a truly unique coaster. You can't get any other experience like it here in the UK, but along with that, it's also one of the smoothest roller coasters here in the UK by far. If you've ever been on the Swarm, then you'll probably agree with me on this, because when you're on it, you honestly feel like you're flying. You go through all those inversions so smoothly. It's just such an enjoyable ride experience, and it's one of those you could just ride again and again and again, even if it is very scary. The winged element isn't the only unique feature to this ride. The first drop is unique too. I mean, I've got to say, it's probably my personal favourite first drop in the whole of the UK. I just love it so much. I'd even go as far as to say that the Swarm is at my number 3 spot of coasters here in the UK. Honestly, everything from the theming to the story to the ride experience, it's a 10 out of 10, and that is why the Swarm is at the top of this list. So there we have it, every coaster at Thorpe Park ranked from my least favourite to my personal best. What did you think? Do you agree with my list? Let me know that in the comments below. And also, what are your thoughts on Nemesis? Do you prefer the original Nemesis, or do you prefer Nemesis Inferno? I'd love to know your thoughts. But that is it for this video. If you did enjoy watching, then please consider hitting that like button to let me know. And if you are new around here and you're feeling extra cheeky, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single thing, because we make plenty of theme park and adventure videos here at Arcadia Adventures, which you don't want to miss. If you want to find out more about the new area and ride coming to Chessington World of Adventures, then maybe consider checking this video out right here. Or if you want to find out the best times to visit UK theme parks in 2023, then maybe consider checking this one out too. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.